Welcome to Dependable Flame, where we explore vintage petrol lighters, ashtrays, tobacconiana, and other useful mechanisms. Make yourself at home.
Today we have a vintage Rogers windproof lighter made in Japan. This lighter has a really nice engine turn design, a monogram panel that has not been engraved, and it may need a little bit of work, but appears as though it could be a really nice lighter to put in my pocket and use. Really cool design on this one. Sort of a plaid pattern. Monogram panel down here with no engraving in it, but it does have a scratch across it. This lighter shows plenty of scuffs, dings, imperfections, minor blemishes. It is used. Rogers, of course, made plenty of other lighters. The Rogers Rocket Flame comes to mind immediately. We will pull the insert out here. See the discoloration of the felt pad, and that's pretty common with these Japanese made lighters from the 50s and 60s, that the felt pad on them is not as pristine white as you have come to expect on Zippo or maybe some other brands of lighter. We drop our flint down the tube and replace the flint spring and screw. Groove that flint in the right direction. Grab a screwdriver here and we will tighten that down. So a nice shower of sparks. We will prop our felt pad up there. And drop in some Roncinol fuel from our dropper bottle here. There is one. Two. We're going to go with 5 here, I think. Maybe 6. 3. 4. Check that, make sure it's not dripping out. I don't see anything wet there yet. There's number 5. And number 6. Looked like it was going to pool up there for a second. Hopefully we do not suffer from vapor lock here. So again, a really nice chrome plated brass. See the brass through some of the plating there in the lid. See the brass here. So we look down in the case. Got some brassing on the insert, which is not all that uncommon, and of course the lighter is used, so it's not like it's perfect. There's blemishes there on the windscreen on both sides, sweeping where the lid has opened up and swept against that windscreen. I did put a drop of WD-40 on the cam here to hopefully get that to operate a little more fluidly. This lighter is very similar in size to a Zippo Slim, maybe a little bit taller, perhaps a little bit thicker, but really close. So really good spark, but not lighting. And it looks like that wick just may not be up to the task. That is a very flawed looking wick. Does not look at all like that is substantial enough to hold a flame. So we will place that wick. Move our flint spring and screw. Drop our flint out of there. Let's pull up that felt pad. Let me grab some tweezers and a generic copper woven Zippo type wick. These were cheap wicks purchased off of Amazon. So let's get our tweezers and start pulling this wadding. And whether or not we should use that wadding or not, that is pretty contaminated looking. So we're just going to set that to the side, and I don't believe that we will use it. Yeah, really contaminated looking wadding. So we will twist this wick down. Simple enough. Get it as small as possible so that we can place it in that hole and then just twist it right on through there. And again, you can see that wick. We ought to be able to get a hold of that and pull it on through. Simple enough. Pull that through just below the top of the chimney, or just even. Or if you would like to light a pipe with your lighter, then just leave it protruding a little bit over the windscreen. We're going to put ours right there at it. Got some common household cotton balls here, and that is what we are going to wad this lighter with. So we're going to start by taking half of one here and feeding this down the back side of that tube. Should be simple enough to poke down in there. And that looks like half of a cotton ball was perfect for that job. There is cotton down the back side. Now we are going to pin this down here to where the wick is pushed down against the top of that insert. Now we're going to start putting in our wadding and alternating wadding, and then fold in the wick, and then wadding, and then fold in the wick. And that looks like that will get it. So total of 2 cotton balls in there. There's our wick there, which ended up protruding a little bit from the top, which will actually be perfect because I do light a lot of pipes, like just as many pipes as I do joints. Although most of what I do these days is dabs with a butane torch. So we've got our felt pad back on. We've got our flint back down the tube. We will get that started and then groove our flint in the proper direction before we tighten that on down with our screwdriver. Good spark. Prop up our felt pad. And I think we did 6 droppers a while ago. And our old stale wadding. There's number 3, 4, 5, and 6. Place our insert back into the case of the lighter. I mentioned putting the oil on that cam, and the lid does seem a little finicky at times. At times that you flip it shut and it does not close all the way. The hinge is just slightly loose, and I think there's just some play in both the margins of the hinge and the cam that allow that to not necessarily close fully every time. Little rough grind on that first one. It lights up on the second one. I really like this lighter. Anytime that you get a design that is not something that you see all the time, that is appealing to me. And we'll just see how well this one continues to function. It won't be the last time that you see this lighter. Until next time.